The names of the month are so common in everyday use that nobody really thinks twice about where they came from. But if you dig beneath the surface a little bit, you'll find something rather odd. If you've ever learned a Romance language or even Latin, you'll know the numbers off by heart. In French, they're 7, 8, 9, 10, and in Italian, they're 7, 8, 9, 10. Spanish and Portuguese have similar words as well. These words descended from Latin, where the numbers were septem, octo, novem, decem. Look familiar? Yes, these Latin words for 7, 8, 9, 10 were used to form the basis of the months September, October, November, December, which literally translates as 7th month, 8th month, 9th month, 10th month. But if you think about it, something doesn't add up. September to December are months 9 to 12, not 7 to 10, so we need to dig a bit deeper to find out why September, October, November, December were named this way. Our story begins 2,500 years ago in ancient Rome, when the calendar looked very different than it does today. The original Roman calendar was composed of 10 months that totaled 304 days, plus 61 days which were not a part of any month at all, which took place during the winter. Some months were named after a god. March, named after Mars. April likely takes its name from Venus, whose name in Etruscan, the language of the pre-Roman peoples in Italy, meant Aphrodite, who is the Greek equivalent of Venus. May takes its name from the goddess Maya, and June takes its name from the goddess Juno. The other months were just named after the order in which they occurred in the year. July, originally named Quintilis, the 5th month. August, originally named Sextilis, the 6th month. September, the 7th month. October, the 8th month. November, the 9th month. And December, the 10th month. Numa Pompilius, one of the first kings of Rome, added 3 months. January, named after the god Janus. February, named after the Roman festival of purification, Februa, and Intercalaris, which was a month in between the end of the year, February, and the beginning of the year, March. Soon after the introduction of January and February, January began to be considered the first month, although not officially. Around 45 BCE, Julius Caesar made significant changes, inspired by the 365-day calendar used by the Egyptians. Julius also renamed the month of Quintilis after himself, since he was born in that month, hence the origin of the month of July. Julius officially designated January as the first month of the year and eliminated the month Intercalaris, which was after the month of February. Because of this, Julius added days to many of the other months, except February. It is assumed that Julius did not add additional days to February so as not to impact the festival of purification, which February is named after. This may explain why February is exactly 4 weeks, except during a leap year, of course. But then what about August? Augustus Caesar renamed the month Sextilis after himself, since many of his significant achievements took place during this month. There is a legend about the month of August, though. Sextilis, or later August, originally had 30 days, while July had 31. In order to make himself seem equal to Julius Caesar, Augustus Caesar apparently removed a day from February and added it to August. But this isn't quite the case. Julius Caesar had already added an extra day to Sextilis before it was renamed August, so this is just a legend. The last thing we haven't quite answered is, where did the French word for August come from? Ooh. English, Italian, Spanish, Portuguese all have a word that clearly resembles Augustus. Well, the answer is simple. The pronunciation of the word just transformed. Over time, words change spelling and pronunciation as the years go on. The month Augustus was pronounced as Augustus by your everyday Roman even during the height of the Roman Empire. Eventually, the us became just u and then became o, which happened in a lot of Latin words, hence why many Spanish, Italian, and Portuguese words end in o. So around the time that Spanish, Italian, French, Portuguese split off into different languages, the month was known as Agosto, which is why today, in Spanish, Italian, and Portuguese, they use the word agosto. but for French, likely because of the influence from German, Augusto lost its final vowel, becoming August, which is where English gets its name from. The G in Auguste became quite weak, pronounced eventually as Auguste, and then the G dropped altogether, creating the Old French word Aoust. Then, towards the start of Middle French, many of the S's before T's became silent, creating out or out with a silent S. Then finally, a spelling reform in the 1700s standardized the use of the circumflex accent, known in French as l'accent circonflexe, to replace silent S's that occur before T's, leaving us with the modern French version out. And recently, the final T in out is losing its pronunciation, so it's more common to hear oo. If you enjoyed this video, give it a like and subscribe to my channel for other videos like this one. My channel is dedicated to sharing many of the interesting features of the world's languages and providing useful tips for language learning.